Hi, my name is Jason Radford, and today I'm going to show you how to capture either your subject's video camera and microphone or the display on their computer in an experiment. This is going to be very useful if you're trying to do some qualitative research on what people do when they interact with your app or with a service on the web somewhere or on their computer. Or if you want to do video capture and do something like facial tagging tasks and machine learning, or just want to have the corresponding video of a subject as they're participating in a study, or do eye tracking. That's another use case. So let's get to it. It's only about 60 lines of code. Rather than doing each thing line by line, I'm just going to show you the study that I created. The code here is going to live on GitHub. I'm actually going to turn this into a template so you can use it right out of the box as one of these template experiments. So if you were on your team, you'd go to add new clone and experiment, and it's going to show up here as a template for you. So let me go back to our video capture. Okay. So there's only 3 files, and actually this CSS file is empty. This is based off of some code from Mozilla. They have an open source code repository that does exactly this. I adapted it a little bit for this particular use case where we're combining the ability to stream camera data from the display data, which wasn't in their first example. So I had to do a little customization of their work. So anyway, let me show you a demo of exactly what we're going to do, and then I'll show you how it works. So let me first start by showing you this. So this is the study. All it is the start button to start the recording process, a stop button to stop the recording process, and then a download link to actually download the resulting video file. The reason why you want to use these buttons is that this video capture requires people to affirmatively consent to letting you start their video and capture it. So you have to use some sort of button or other user input to actually initiate this process. And then the download link is just there so that when people actually finish the recording, they can actually get a copy of it and then email it to you as the researcher. I think there's also probably a way for them to automatically send it to a server of yours, or like a Dropbox. I'm not going into that today, but that's probably also something that you can do here. So I'll just quickly show you. Start. I see this pop-up that says share your screen. If you'll note, I can share the entire screen so you can have them do something on their desktop or anywhere else online. I can show the application window, so something within this whole, all of Chrome here. Or I can do a Word document, what have you. Or I can choose the Chrome tab. All of this stuff is baked in, so I'm not doing any of this. This is automatically what comes with Chrome. And I think Firefox has something similar. So I'm going to just choose the entire screen here. And if I want to hear the audio that's going on inside the window here, say if I was watching a YouTube video, I would need to click this share audio button to make sure that whatever audio is going on in the web page is being captured or recorded. So I'm going to click share, get the notification that it's working. I see a little red light appear that video capture is going on. And then right now the video is hearing what I'm saying, so I'm going to stop. And that's already, the stop button has stopped the recording. Click download, and the video comes out as a WebM file, which will need to be turned into an MP4 file for you to actually look at it. There's no good encoder in JavaScript, so you start with WebM files and you have to find a different program for turning them into MP4 files. But it's so commonly used that I'm sure you can find something pretty easily. So quit. So that's how it works. Start button, stop button, download. Let's go to the files. So I'm just going to start with the HTML file. It's literally just the text at the top with the instructions, the start button, the stop button, and then the download link. That's it. There's going to be everything that these buttons do, the links do, is going to be set in the JavaScript here, which is just this, as I said, 63 lines of code. At the top here, we're going to create these variables that we're going to use throughout the study. One is for when we grab the start button, one for when we grab the stop button, one for the download button, and then a variable for the stream. You'll see how they get used in a minute. the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a function that lets us choose which streams we're going to save. So this is going to be an asynchronous function because getting this access doesn't happen automatically. As you saw, the user has to accept the permissions. So we want to have this whole function run asynchronously. And what we're doing here with the get stream sources function is choosing which inputs to start saving in our stream. So here I have two streams. One is the user stream from media devices.getUserMedia, and that controls the camera and microphone. So in this case, audio true means I'm going to record their microphone data, but I'm not going to record their video data. So I'm not going to turn their camera on and record their face. And the reason for that, at least in this particular case, is that I'm recording their screen. And so if I try to record two videos at once, I'm not exactly sure which one I would see. Probably the user stream, since this is being saved first. I don't know. But anyway, you can't look at two videos at the same time. The best way to handle this is either save it as two separate files with two separate streams, or save them as a stream on one canvas, or two streams on one canvas. On the left-hand side, you have the camera, and on the right-hand side, you have the display. That's how you would sort of get around being able to record both videos at once. But anyway, here we're just recording the audio from the microphone. We are and on the get display media, we're going to record the audio in the browser, and then we're going to record the video of the browser. So you can change these as you want. If you want to do the video for if you want to do the camera video, you just set this to true, and you're done. That's it. Oh, I'll set this to false. So I'll do this to be false. So you're not doing two videos, but that's it. That's all you would have to do. I'm gonna unchange that. So we set these two variables, the streams that we want. We're going to create a stream object here. This goes with the same stream up here. It's the same variable. And we're adding them two together. So the user stream and the display stream are going to be mashed together into one stream. Then we return that stream. So the next thing we're going to define is the initialize function. And the initialize function here is just going to control the whole flow. So what happens? When the study starts, we're going to make the start button start the recording, make the stop button stop the recording, and then make the download button actually download the recording. So let me walk you through that. So we're going to use a start button variable here to just refer to the start button on the web page. Same thing with the stop button here, and then the download button as well. They're all going to be variables here. And then when you start, we're going to add this event listener to the start button. So when you click the start button, you hear that click, and then we're going to run a function. When that click happens, we're going to run the get stream sources function up here. And then we're going to use this .then statement to send that to the stream that comes out. So line 18 returns a stream. We're going to send that stream to the start recording function, which is down here. I'll get to that in a second. Once we're done with the start recording stream, the recording chunks, which is what this is, gets sent to this little function here, which saves it as a blob, or creates a blob around it with the type webm, so that JavaScript knows that it's a web video blob. And then this recorded blob has a URL created for it, so you can access it. And that URL is being assigned to the download button. So the download button now is going to be, when it first starts, there is no URL associated with it. It's just a link to nowhere. But here, once you start the study and somebody clicks the start button, you will actually you'll get that download button. Will have this URL for the blob object. And then we're going to give it a name. So the download button will download a video called recordedvideo.webm. Here you could also name it whatever you wanted. So you could give some random number to subjects and have it be like random number plus recorded video with the underscore here. And then somewhere up here would say random number equals. You would use a number randomizer. We'll just say 189, 234 as an example. And so that way you'll have a user-specific random code that's not necessarily associated with any of the data in this experiment. And it keeps it confidential. So we got the start button. It creates the stream, sends the stream to the recording function, which is down here. I'll get to that in a second. And then it saves the recording to this blob, which they can then be downloaded on these last 31 and 32. Then there's a catch if something breaks, which you can basically ignore. And then we're going to do the same thing with the stop button. The stop button will add an event listener where if we click it, we'll send it to the stop. We'll stop stream, which is another function down here, which I'll show you in a second. So adding the function to the stop button to stop the stream. Okay, so we have the stream created. Now we want the start recording function. So what do we do with that stream? So what we're going to do is we're going to create a recorder object for this stream, or turn it into a recorder class. So it's let recorder equals new media recorder stream. Create an empty data set to hold it. So recorder.onDataAvailable is a browser function for what do I do once I start getting data to this recorder. Don't worry about any of this. Just copy and paste it exactly as it is. Essentially, what you're doing is that every time it gets a frame that is or a chunk of data, we're sending that data to data.push. So we're just extending the data that we're getting. We're essentially taking slices of shots of time and adding it to a stream of those same shots of time, exactly what a video is. And then we define what start, and then we call start. So we say, okay, start recording this ongoing stream of data that's being generated in line 47. And then if you hear stop, we create a promise that says stop, basically, unless there's an error. And then now that we have the stream being properly handled and started, we return this the promised stop. That'll stop when it stops, and sends the data out, which will be used up here when there's a recorded chunks. Okay, the last function is stop. When you click the stop button, what happens? We take the stream object. The get tracks function within stream will tell you the different threads of the tracks of the stream that are being recorded all simultaneously, and then for each one of those things, we'll tell it to stop. So I think technically the audio is a track, video is a track, this audio is a track, this audio is a track. So I think there are 4 tracks, but I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, we tell them all to stop, it stops recording. And that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to put this up on GitHub, and like I say, I'm going to make this into a template so you can just copy paste it directly within Volunteer Science. There are no variables to use here. You can add a bunch if you wanted to, but if you wanted to create your own version of this, you could just take the GitHub code and put it in Volunteer Science or create it from a template. It's all the same. But anyway, that's how you create a screen recording and video recording in Volunteer Science. Thank you.